Hello, 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 and welcome back to another day of Friday Live with Carwana D. I am elated to share with you guys to answer the question, does my business qualify for government contracts? So if you're here today because you are curious about government contracts, how it works for you, does your business qualify? These are most of the common questions, of course, that we get from people who are brand new, right? Or just not quite sure on how to position themselves to actually start landing these large lucrative contracts that are specifically set aside for small businesses. So if you're here today, we're going to answer the question, does your business qualify for government contracts? So um, as you're joining in, let me know where you're joining from. What business services do you offer? And then we're going to do a deep dive into three things that kind of will help you answer the question whether or not your business qualifies for government contracts. If you are new, I'm Carwana D, government contract strategist, and I help small business owners learn how to position themselves to land large, lucrative contracts with the government that are specifically set aside for small businesses, right? So typically, I would say 95 or more percent, just by my research, of small business owners who are struggling in today's economy or struggling to really scale their business to the next level, or even maybe just struggling to take their business to multiple millions of dollars, are not simply doing business with the government, or they just don't know that it's possible for them. So today we're going to talk about if whether or not your business qualifies, so that you'll have a great idea of what's on the table for you. So if you're joining me on the podcast, listening to the podcast, thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast. For YouTube followers, be sure to like and subscribe. Those are who are in our GovCon Insider group. We're gonna have some nice discounts for our upcoming challenge. So be sure to be on the lookout for that code so that you can actually get a discount towards our upcoming challenge. And I do want to also say we're going to be opening up over the next couple of weeks, opening up our free Facebook group as well, where you guys can follow us and get amazing content. And it's pretty much going to be kind of like a user community where you guys can just kind of gather with others that are on the same journey as yourself. So few things that I want to get out of the way before I get started today is I want to give a special shout out and a heartfelt thank you to those who actually not only pre-purchased my book, Don't Duck the Government, which is now available at don'tduckthegovernmentbook.com, but also took a screenshot of themselves or a picture and posted it actually on social media, giving a shout out to our book. So I want to thank you, Eurydice Moore, Dr. Tamika Brown, of course, Christian Anise, Felicia Spivey, Dale Goldman, and Monique Edding. So if I missed anyone, let me know. Be sure to tag me in your picture holding the book or reading the book so that I can be sure to give you a shout out the next time. So I appreciate you. So for those who haven't had a chance to grab this book, I literally just got off yesterday an international interview. That's right, an international interview about Don't Duck the Government book.com and how it's actually giving game on how to get, basically the whole concept about government contracts. So in this book, you're going to learn about, why you should do government contracts, the mindset that you should have when in order to succeed, whether in business or even as a government contractor, like some of those the thought patterns that you should be thinking about when pursuing government contracts. So we also talks about determining your business niche, like what's available as far as opportunities and how to kind of niche down to you so that you're actually being able to get even larger results by being specific on what it is that you want to offer to the government, but also positioning yourself to win, right? It's all about positioning. It's all about strategies. And then we talk about 7 different types of government contracts in this book that you can actually get. But also, when you subscribe to the book, you'll also receive access to a website where I have a bunch of free resources, giveaways, and all those different things. So be sure to go to don'tduckthegovernmentbook.com to grab a copy because it's full of amazing information for you. So outside of that, so once you actually get a copy of this book, or for those who already have a copy, just know that we have a full service program where we're actually helping people get qualified for government contracts. So if you want to know, today you're here because you're here to find out if your business qualifies. Well, we actually walk you through the specific qualification steps to make it official, so that not only are you understanding that you qualify, but you know what the next steps are going to be to get in position. I call it getting information, so that you can actually begin to get your golden ticket, right? Your golden ticket to doing government contracting for yourself to grow your business. So hello, if you're joining me on Facebook, be sure to click on the StreamYard link so that I'm able to see your name. Otherwise, it'll just say Facebook user. But I do like to shout out those who are joining me live. So hey, Ty. Hey, Mark. Hello, how are you? Dolores, good afternoon to you. And see, I was registered before, but I didn't keep my certification active. Can I get reinstated? Thank you. Yeah. So I'm gonna come back around to that question. That's a really good question, Dolores. Great. Hi, Gianna and Angela Phillips. Welcome. So, does your business qualify for government contracts? If for those of you who have a business already, let me know in the chat what type of business service or product you're currently providing to your clients, or you currently have to sell. Mark is from the Bronx in Bronx, New York, and in photography. Awesome. Yes. So there's definitely a lot of contracting opportunities for photographers. Of course, if you kind of go through the history of my YouTube channel, because I see you're joining me on YouTube, I specifically have one one specific training specifically about photographers. In fact, the GovCon challenge that's coming up, if you go to govconchallenge.com, the link is scrolling at the bottom. You'll be able to get registered for our upcoming challenge. We're gonna actually help you actually specifically get pre-qualified to sell to the government. One of the gentlemen who did this last year, who was a photographer, actually just going through the challenge, he was able to position himself to start landing lucrative contracts with the government in Chicago. And that was just going through our amazing challenge where we bring it, right? So it's like, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I'm all about sharing information. I'm all about empowering entrepreneurs to do it. We're going to have the right mindset. Of course, if you're working with me as your coach, we're not talking about nothing negative, nothing of no I can't, and no, this is what happened in the past. No, we're going to move forward and be progressive and diligent about going ahead to get those results. So these are the things that you have when you're working with me. Like we're gonna push you to actually succeed in your business, but you got to want it, right? You got to want it. So we have, hey, Kay from Atlanta, Georgia, photography. I just actually had an amazing photo shoot out in Atlanta, and we'll be back in your town in a few months. So t-shirt, apparel, business, custom t-shirts, tumblers, coffees, and mugs. Dolores White. Okay, I see. Gabriel Bryant, Sprinter van transportation. We have Angela Phillips in the notary service field, and we have travel and online boutique. And then we have another loan. Gianna is a loan signing agent, insurance agent, and then you do photography as well. So and Mark, I do see your question about, do you need a business address? I'm going to answer that in just a moment as well. We have Kim Wells from cleaning and nanny. Okay, cleaning and nanny business. Wow, super awesome. So let me see. What else did I mean? Mobile notary, adventurous and service on the West Coast. So I am also on the West Coast. So all of those things, right? So the first thing that you want to consider is like, here's the first choice, or the first checkbox I want to give you. The first checkbox when it comes to answering the question, does my business qualify for government contracts? Well, number one is you have to have a business, right? So if you have a business, put a check mark in the chat, right? So now we've already checked that box, or you can just type check in the box, right? So, or in the chat. That way we've already checked that box. In order to do business with the number one largest purchaser of business products and services in the world. Now, this is huge, right? In order to land that client, that premium client, that large purchaser as your client, you have to have a business, right? So we have Kim has a business, Facebook user, it says Facebook user. If you didn't click on the StreamYard link, it's not going to show me your name. But I see those checks coming in. Adventurous Ann, Dolores, Gabriel, Consulting and Transportation Logistics says K Bib, and then Mark says check. So yes, you were able to check off that box. Boom, you're the first step into understanding that yes, your business qualifies. So and I always like to say, most people are like, can I start a business and get started with government contracting? Yes, but you don't qualify without having that business first. So having a business first is going to be the first step to qualifying for government contracting. You definitely do have to have a business, right, in order to do business with the government. So the second thing to consider, right, for those of you who put down the services that you offer, well, if you have a business service that you actually offer, then yes, that's the second box you want to check. So drop a check in the chat if you can check off the fact that you have a service, you know what that service is, or you have a product and understand what that product is that you're actually selling. And if you understand what it is that you want to sell or actually are selling to the government, then yes, you do qualify for government contracts, right? So far we've covered, you have to have a business, right? And in order to have a business, of course, you got to have a service or a product, right? The reason why I'm being so thorough and very specific is because there are some people who started a business, but they have no idea of what it is that they want to sell, right? Well, you have to at least have a business service or a business product that you want to sell and are able to articulate and identify what that is. Now, what we do inside the challenge is we take that and we show you other things that are complementary that you can also sell. And we give you other ideas of areas that you can actually basically create multiple streams of income within your business. We do that with you in the challenge. Okay. So we have these checks. All right. So we have some people that are coming up pre-qualified or coming up qualified with qualified businesses that you can sell to the government. Now, just imagine this. Now you've already checked off 2 boxes out of the 3 that I'm sharing with you. So how much money are we leaving on the table right now? Like, how long have you had a business? How long have you had a service that you have to offer, right? It's really just that simple, because some people are like, well, what do I do to qualify? Or does my business qualify? And they're not really certain, but really it is just that simple. You have a business and you have a service or a product that you want to sell. And guess what? Those are the two to 3 boxes that you have to check off. So Kim Wells, yes. Dolores, yes. K-Bib, absolutely. Okay, so the third thing that you have to have in order to basically answer the question if your business qualifies for government contracts is pricing, premium pricing. So here's where most small business owners kind of get stuck, because you don't really understand how to price your services for a person, let alone the government. So here's what I would say. Now, if you have a business, a product or service, the third thing is to have a price, right? What is your price? And I want to do a deep dive, but also if you join me in the upcoming challenge by registering at govconchallenge.com, we're going to help you understand more about how to price your services, but we'll also show you behind the scenes of what the government is actually accepting as your price. Okay. So be sure to get registered for the upcoming challenge. Trust me, you don't want to miss it, because you will walk away ready to start landing contracts, like ready to begin your journey in landing your contracts. Getting pre-qualified is actually the first step to growing a thriving business and landing your first contract. So when I talk about pricing, premium pricing is what you want to have, right? When I say premium pricing, let's just say for photographers. Hello, my photographers that are out there. So for the photographers, and this is just a general example, right? It doesn't matter if you're a photographer, doesn't matter if you have a cleaning service, it doesn't matter if you're a notary service. I'm going to show you, of course, inside the challenge, how you can actually charge premium pricing, right? So as an example, for photographers, typically photographers, I would say maybe your base hourly rate could be like $75, right? Let's just say that. Or if you're a photographer specifically, you want to throw like your bottom base hourly rate, go ahead and drop that in the chat and I can give you a even more realistic example. But let's just say $75 an hour. There's a 4-hour minimum. So now you're at like $300 a gig, right? That's typically kind of around ballpark of how it kind of works for photographers, right? So instead of getting $300 a gig, when it comes to government contracting, you want to think premium, right? So literally you can charge $200 an hour versus the $75 an hour. So 200, 250, maybe even 275, depending on how the package is pretty much laid out. But let's just say, for instance, you charge $250 an hour for those same minimum 4 hours. So now you're at what, $1,000 a gig. Okay. So, but watch this. So 75. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mark, for that. So, but watch this. Okay. So let's just say $1,000 per gig. So when you actually get a contract, right, you're doing that gig multiple times a month. Let's just say you lock in to do it 4 times a month. Now you took your $300, made it $1,000, took your $1,000, made it $4,000, and watch this. It gets even better. All right. So now you're doing it 4 times a month. 4,000 times 12 is what? 54, 58? Is it 58,000 or something like that? Let me see. Let me do the math. 12 times 4, 458. Yeah, 58,000, right? So now if you do that 12 times, if you do that for 12 months, right? So now you have a $58,000 contract. So versus the 300, now you're up to a $58,000 contract. And watch this. It goes even deeper. Typically, ideally, those particular contracts are 2 to 5 years. So you multiply the 58,000 times 2. Where are we at? 116,000, right? 116,000. So now if it's a 2-year contract, 116,000 for that 2-year contract. So now guess what? You're a 6-figure government contractor. You landed your first 6-figure government contract. So if you're only doing that 4 times a month, right? How many more days in a month can you do that, right? And imagine if you had a team where you're doing it on 2 different locations or 2 different sites on the same day. So now you've doubled that. So this is exactly why I say when it comes to government contracts, of course, you want to have a business, you want to have a product, but you also want to understand the pricing because this is where the magic happens, right? The government buys in bulk, right? And I'm going to repeat that and you can drop that in the chat. The government buys in bulk. They don't want your 1-day service. They want your 2-year commitment, right? Or they want your 5-year commitment, and they're going to pay you premium pricing. And that is just a prime example. But just imagine, it doesn't matter like who it is. Hi, Sharonda. It doesn't matter like what service it is that you're offering. Even if you're a notary, typically for notary public businesses, right, there's like a cap on how much you can charge per signature. But guess what? When you actually secure a contract with an agency, let's just say like the Department of Housing or the Department of Veterans or whatever, Veteran Affairs or whatever, you secure a actual contract, well, it's going to include multiple signatures within that contract over a certain period of time. So now instead of the one-offs, now you have like multiple signatures that you're delivering over a 1 or 2 year period or whatever to an agency. So hello, somebody, that's money, right? That's money all day. But even on top of that, right? So not only are you getting paid for signature, are you able to bill premium pricing for the signatures, right? But guess what? You have to manage that project. That's a project management fee that you can charge. You want to, and then you can also have a bill for your per diem, for your traffic, for your traveling to these locations, or for your online, if you're doing online signatures, for your online service fees or whatever to make it convenient for them. So now you've just double, triple, quadrupled that one-off fee to being able to have a thriving business and a contract. So if you're not doing business with the government, guess what? You're leaving money on the table. Is that good for somebody? If you're not doing business with the government, you're leaving money on the table. And I broke down the math very specifically, and I did it, simplicity, like in a simple way, so that you can really understand how you can easily multiply your income this year. Hey, David. If the paperwork not right means no go. How you can simply multiply your income this year by doing business with the number one largest purchase of business products and services in the world, right? Now, this is like, we're almost in a recession, y'all. And you got to wake up. If you're not doing this, what's holding you back? You started a business to get paid. What's holding you back? What's keeping you from getting paid? Nothing should stand in your way. If you started your business so that you can get paid, so you can pay your bills, then nothing should be in your way. If you started your business so that you can actually get paid to free yourself from your job, or to secure be able to pay for your children's college, or to be able to build a legacy and all those different things, where here's an opportunity for you to be able to do that, what's holding you back? Right? If you have not done this yet, what's holding you back? Is it the knowledge, the lack of knowledge? Is it it's just not understanding? Is it the hard work? Well, guess what? In our challenge, we help you through all those processes, right? So it's just like, sometimes you can't do business alone, because when you get discouraged, you don't have no one to say you can't give up, right? So you can't do business alone. So I would say, in GovCon Challenge, if you go to govconchallenge.com and register, we're going to help you through the bulk of all that stuff, right? So you not only understand, does the government buy my stuff? Heck yeah, they do, right? How much of it are they buying? And like, how large are these contracts? And who's buying it, right? We actually show you and break down, and I share my screen on how to do the research to find these things out. These are the things that you need to know before you even jump in bed with the government. You have to do your research. Just like for some, even though most people don't do research before they start a business, like, for example, there's like in my community, there's this one business center where every business that goes in is always out of business within 6 months, because guess what? They haven't done their research. They haven't researched the market. They don't know who the buyers are. They just start a business with hopes that the people will come, but it doesn't work like that. You actually have to do the research. And this is what we do in the challenge. 5 days of research to show you who's buying your stuff, so that you know who to get in front of, so that you can actually take your golden ticket, right? This is you actually get a golden ticket when you buy my book, right? This comes in the book. Actually get your golden ticket to knock on the door of the agencies who got your check, right? It says, if you was a collector and somebody owed you money, what would you do? You're going to go call them. You're going to email them. You're going to send them a letter and tell them, I need my money, right? Well, the government got your money. What you going to do about it? They got your money, and they actually they got your name written on the check already. All you got to do is like get in position. And these are some of the things that we're helping you do when you actually take the challenge, right? Because it's like, some people need that step by step because they're lost and they're stuck. And trust me, I know if you're trying to do this alone and you've been trying to figure it out, really think about how long have you been trying to figure it out. And if it's been more than a year, then guess, baby girl, and guess what, brother man, you need help, right? And we're here to help you, right? No longer are you, or should you defer your dream of having a successful business? You can be very successful. We're 6 months into the year. You can land your first contract before the year is out. Hello, somebody. And as you saw, the way that I broke down the math, if you do this in steps, like if you do the strategies, you can land a six-figure contract before the year is out. And it matters. We're in the middle of a recession, and government contracts is the only way that I've seen to fail proof your business. Okay. When we're in a recession, people stop spending, right? People meaning individuals. So if your only business model is to sell to people or to collect a one-off customer, then you are in for a surprise when they officially announce that we're in a recession. Look at the grocery food chain is up. It costs more. Housing market is up. It costs more to buy houses, all that stuff. Everything is inflated right now. So you have to find a way to offset that cost. And guess what? The government got your money, and it will help you fail-proof your business model regardless of a recession, and help you offset some of those costs. When you're landing those type of lucrative contracts, you don't care about what the gas prices are, because guess what? You have enough cash flow in your business to be able to afford that type of inflated lifestyle. and that's just the way it is. And it's the realest of the realest of the realest, right? So how big are your classes for the challenge? Are you going to assist every person in the industry? Yes. So our challenges are pretty intimate size, right? Because we kind of cap it off to keep them intimate as far as size. But if you upgrade to become VIP, those are even more. It's a small fee, very small fee to become VIP. Those are even more intimate because for VIP we have a specific set aside day where only the ones that are VIP we do a one-on-one. We do a one-on-one. It's a small group, but we do a one-on-one about your specific business, right? And I help you devise a roadmap or a game plan for your specific business, so you can ask me questions about your specific business, talk about your specific journey where you are, and I'll help you devise a game plan to get to the next step. And we do that for our VIP. So be sure when you register to also upgrade to become VIP, because they get also special. They get to pick my brain a little bit more, right? As well. So let me see. So let me answer some of these questions. I know there was a few questions from the beginning. So I'm gonna put this one up. Do you need a business address to do this? So great question, Mark. No, you do not have to have a business address. In fact, you can have a residential address to do that, right? You can't use a PO box. You do have to have an address, right? Wherever your address is. Okay, another question by Dolores. I was registered in SAM before. Wait, I was registered. I'm making up words, right? As you can see, I was registered before, but did not keep my certification active. Can I get it reinstated? So if it's inactive, you can't reinstate it. You have to start again, right? But definitely, you can still get re-registered. It's just not a reinstatement. So all the work that you put in, right, to become active, you got to put in all that work again to get active again. Okay. Let me see what other questions were there. And I have on the West Coast. Okay, I'm looking for trying to make sure grant programs are available at local economic and development. Let's see. I think this is a question. Let me see. Okay. I'm in the motion of purchasing a virtual address with this. Do I need a virtual address or can I use my regular straight home? Yeah, so you definitely can use your straight home address, your residential address. So the benefit of, and I talk about this before in one of my lives, but the benefit of having a virtual address is for specifically zoning purposes, and it can or cannot hurt you, help or hurt, right? It can or cannot help or hurt you, if that makes sense. But the reason being, so when it comes to federal certifications, the virtual address is going to be red flag. You can't even get certified with a virtual address on the federal government level. With the other state and local, yes, you can use a virtual address, but the virtual address is good for business credit. It's building business credit on that, if that makes sense. So it's good for that, but it's not necessarily always good for small business certifications when it comes to federal government contracting. So that's why I say it can or cannot hurt you. It helps you in certain ways, but it can hurt you in other ways. But also, when it comes to zoning, here's the other thing. When it comes to zoning, typically those virtual addresses are in like industrial areas, right? Which is good for business credit. But guess what? When they have the EIDL, the free $15,000 grant, and then you had a virtual address on file for your business, right? Most people were being declined that extra $15,000 because they were zoned in an industrial area, which means that you don't need no help, right? But for those who use their residential address, and their address maybe have been in like an underutilized zip code or zoning, they were getting that extra $15,000 free grant, right? So that's why I say it's kind of like a balance of, should I do it? Should I not? How can I be strategic? And of course, these are some of the things that we help you with and understand when you're inside the challenge as well. So, what is included in the challenge? Great question. Yes. So in the challenge, basically 5 days of transformation, right? When you take the challenge, and I'm not here to toot my own horn. I'm just saying you would never view business the same, right? You come out motivated, not only motivated, but you know how much the government is spending for your stuff. You know how to position yourself, what you need to do, what agencies you need to be looking at, all of those things. So you actually get to you actually get a whole business plan, right? You walk away with a complete blueprint and business plan to be on your journey to start landing those lucrative contracts. All of that is included in the challenge. She said, say it again for the people in the back. Okay. So how about if you have more than one business? Okay, good question. So you definitely, whatever you can do with one business. So let's just say you take the challenge, you get pre-qualified with that one business. Well, you take that same knowledge and you implement it into your other businesses. GovCon. Okay, so yeah, so be sure to go to govconchallenge.com to get registered to join us in the program over the 5 days. So we're starting June 27th, and those are going to be 5 days, and it's only like 60 to 90 minutes a day, right? So if you can carve out that time and commit to actually doing the work, and there's going to be, of course, implementation that you have to do to walk away pre-qualified, right, for your government contract. Like getting pre-qualified is amazing, because now you know exactly what you need to do to land a contract, right? Yep. So will your program with your program, do you help get certifications done? So inside of our not doing the challenge, but we do have a program where we do help you get certified. But the first step is to actually go through the challenge so that you can become pre-qualified. So, and yeah, those are all the questions that I see. So anyways, be sure, you guys, because I have to run, because I'm actually going to be working with some clients who are actually in our program that we're helping to start landing contracts this year in just a few minutes. But I did want to come on to let you know the three things. And the three things, basically, if you have a business, if you have a service and product, and you understand your pricing, and you understand the difference between pricing a consumer versus pricing for the government, now you know that yes, your business does qualify. And now that you know your business qualifies, what are you going to do? Let's go ahead and get yourself pre-qualified so that you can go ahead and start being on your way to landing your first contract this year, and fail-proofing your business regardless of the so-called recession that we're about to get in, right? You'll be like me during the pandemic. What pandemic? It didn't affect me, right? And I want more small business owners to be like, what recession? It doesn't affect me, because guess what? The government got your money. The government prints money. They never stop printing money. And during recessions and during pandemics and during economic crisis, they spend even more money with businesses because you have solutions. So if you want to be a solutionary, and that's a word that I did make up, if you want to be a solutionary for the government's problem, which means they have too much money they need to get rid of, then go ahead and get registered for the challenge. We're going to show you exactly how to become that solution to the government at govconchallenge.com. So that's it today for me. I'll see you all in the challenge. Let me see. Somebody pick your brain about how much is your other side. Yeah, so Kim, that's a really good question. And that's a really good question. If you become VIP to pick my brain, trust me, you're not going to be able to get all the things that you need to actually pick my complete brain in the time frame. But you will walk away with a game plan on what you can do for your business. So, but once you go through the challenge, that's when we'll talk about, because you have to be pre-qualified to work with us anyway. And typically we don't work with just everybody. We only work with people that we know we can help. And typically the people who go through the challenge are 100% more ready for us to help them get the results. And so at that time, once you go through the challenge, we'll be able to talk about further how we can help you further. Mark just signed up. All right, congratulations, Mark. We're definitely ready, right, to help you get pre-qualified. And congratulations. We're definitely going to show you how to go after this pitch, how to pitch, make millions pitching and winning government contracts. So don't duck the government. This is your year. We're going to help you. So yeah, I'll see you all next time.